Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Zoobox. I'm Shaun, as if you don't know, and this is the final update for the Durianrider diet. This is weeks 2 through 4, basically. I had done 2 videos prior. I had planned on doing a video every week as a weekly update, but I just had lots of crazy stuff in my life. My internet was out for like almost 2 weeks. Fucking fuck you, Comcast. And then I was sick, then I had allergies, and it's just been a roller coaster, just up and down, just trying to navigate regular life and all that kind of crap. But this is going to be the final video. I just want to give a breakdown of what the last couple weeks were like. So, as I left it with the last video, I was having some kind of problems, a lot of indigestion, like a lot of acid reflux, stuff like that. That kind of persisted as I went through the diet. I stuck as close to the protocols as I could in terms of just the fundamentals of the diet. Like, I wasn't so concerned with it just being a vegan style diet. I wasn't. I was just like, well, what happens if you just go high carb, high-ish sugar? I did not do refined sugars and stuff. I just did natural sugars from fruits and whatnot. Like, I couldn't do the sugar water and shit like that. And as I saw in comments, which I gotta say, just I want to briefly say, some of the comments were awesome, and they're very helpful, and there are things that I'm going to take with me on my diet journey for the rest of this year and the rest of my life. Lots of very thoughtful things, lots of very supportive comments. So I want to say thank you to the people for being like so kind with their time, because some of them were very like well thought out. They were like kind of long pieces, and they were just a lot for me to think about and chew on. So I want to say I appreciate that. But yeah, so I never really felt comfortable with it. My body just was not adjusting to using carbs as fuel in the way that it is designed to. Because like I said, I wanted to try the fundamentals of the diet. It should work kind of regardless, right? At least that's what I would have imagined. Because I could go to different diets, and like if I just follow the principles of the diet, generally it's effective. I did not find that so much with this. I found I wasn't gaining weight, but I also wasn't really losing weight. And that was with intermittent fasting. And I was not going crazy. I wasn't eating more than I normally would eat. I would just eat kind of enough to fill myself, and then that would be it. And I wasn't really too concerned with carb loading or anything like that. I wasn't going overboard. I wasn't going crazy. I wasn't trying to take this to the furthest reaches it could possibly go. I wanted to kind of treat it like I would any normal diet that I would be on. And like I had shown before, if you go back to the week 0 video, like I had found a lot of success with a keto-like diet. That was another diet that I went on where I didn't follow it to the letter, but I kind of just followed the basic principles, and I found a lot of success with it. This one I just didn't. I've always felt puffy and bloated. That never went away. That never went away the entire time I was on the diet. I ended up only doing it about 3.5 weeks because once I got sick, I just couldn't do it anymore, especially because I was having so much indigestion and acid reflux. And as far as I understand, I did look into it a little bit. Like, some people just can't handle that many carbs. So I might just be in that category of people that has a hard time processing the carbs. My body cannot break down the carbs fast enough, which I thought was weird because I wasn't going crazy. I wasn't like binge eating or anything like that. And as far as the sugar stuff goes, like I said, I couldn't do the sugar water stuff. I found it fucking really disgusting. It made me feel physically ill. So I stayed away from that. But I was getting plenty of natural sugars from fruits and whatnot. If there's anything that I've gotten from this experiment, from this diet, is that I really enjoy fruit. And I would feel better, actually. I would feel better. I would feel that little boost of energy as advertised when I would eat fruit. It helped me kind of wean myself off of stimulants. Like, I have a can right here. Like, I have serious addictions to caffeine, like serious problems with it. It's something that it definitely is something I think about. And this helped me kind of wean myself off to a pretty large degree from that kind of stuff. And I think part of that was just going in because I was ready for it. Like, I had the mindset. And this helped me put myself in a place where I was kind of willing to make those kinds of sacrifices and make that kind of change. So I know this is a little anticlimactic because I just wasn't seeing the results that I would like to see from a diet like this, from the amount of effort that you have to put in. And also just the amount of money that I had to spend just on myself. I'm not like a wealthy person. and we buy house or food for our household, and if it's not something everybody's eating all the time, like just for me to buy that stuff for myself isn't really something I could really probably do long term. Even though, I will say, things like rice, some vegetables are cheaper than others, We're also going through, this is like the worst time to do some sort of diet like this because we're going through fucking inflation right now. Everything is more expensive right now. So when you have like a little 4-year-old kid and stuff, I'm not going to be forcing my kid to be on a vegan diet. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Like, he needs his nutrients and he needs to get it any way that he can get it. So I'm not going to be picky and weird. And, he's just not, it's hard enough to get kids to eat as is. The idea that I'm just going to be like, oh, all we're going to do is eat like vegetables and rice all the time. That's not going to happen. So I need him to get his nutrients from his food in any way possible. Because I did have to supplement. This is not a diet that you can just go and eat the food. No, you have to supplement. You have to do all these different things. Most of the time, I already do supplement. I already take vitamins, and I take B12, and I take collagen, and biotin, and things like that, and niacin. Like, I'm already taking all that stuff as is, so that wasn't a big deal for me. But, man, I got to tell you, though. I know I've mentioned it a little bit, but fuck, I felt awful. I felt like dog shit the whole time. I felt lethargic. I felt tired all the time. I just felt heavy and bloated. And that's just me personally. I think if you have a very active, like hardcore lifestyle, if you're into exercise, you go to the gym. I know Durianrider has this whole thing where it's like, well, it's not exercise, it's movement. Like, that's dog shit. The way he frames all this stuff is completely disingenuous. And I already knew that going into this. If you want to see, I just relisted an old stream that I did watching Durianrider videos. It was like right before we ever talked to Durianrider. And it had been unlisted. I just forgot that it was unlisted. So I relisted it. So you can go there. There's an old episode of Nightcap from about a month and a half ago where I go and look at a lot of his philosophy, a lot of his things, what he says about these diets, about his own lifestyle. I'm sure it's all well and good if you're able to live that kind of lifestyle. Maybe it would work better. Maybe it would have worked better for me, I just don't, as it is right now, it wasn't very helpful, and I didn't see any gains from it. And I think this idea that, like, you could be like, well, you don't have to exercise, and he could say things like, you could live off of water and pixie sticks, is, for lack of a better way to put it, that's fucking retarded. And you shouldn't say those kind of things. It's completely misleading. It's disingenuous as well. He knows it is, too. It's like he goes into this marketing man mode, where he's like, oh, 30 bananas a day. It's like, well, that was never literal, except for the times where he told people it was literal. So you find a lot of things like that. Durianrider's a guy that's been around for a long time. And I brought this up when I talked to him, and he wasn't very forthcoming. He's changed a lot. He's changed his mind a lot. He's changed his perspective a lot. But as far as I understand, there isn't anything where he's like, hey, this is where I was before, this is where I am now, and this is like what I'm doing going forward. I think he should do something like that, because there's so much material out there that it's very easy to kind of get lost in the weeds about what kind of diet you should be on. Because his diet has changed drastically. Other than being a vegan diet, it's changed. It's been all over the place over the years. So there isn't really a lot of consistency there. So I don't think that I really buy into his diet program or his protocols if you're not like a high-level athlete. If you're not trying to be like a cyclist or somebody that does like intense workouts every day, I can't see this being very effective. I mean, what he says isn't so crazy outside of the norm. I mean, like if you're like an endurance runner and stuff, you would know you do things like carb loading the night before you go have a big run, so your body has these extra reserves of fuel to use during that, and you don't get cramps and whatnot. Like, those are things that already exist. I will say I do appreciate his advocacy for just like eating like healthy sugars and stuff, because I do think he has a point about the way we conceive of sugars in the Western world. And I do find it specious and suspicious that constantly we're told that sugar is bad, but here, have this supplement, have this replacement. That's things that often cause people long-term health problems, when they have all the sugar substitutes. That stuff's not good for you. It's probably worse for you than just if you ate regular sugar. for the most part, I think. Aspartame, things like that. Those things are not good for you. And the idea that we're just like, well, but it doesn't make you fat. That's not a good answer. We should be encouraging people to be more healthy in general. And if there's something I respect and appreciate about Durianrider, just to kind of put a button on all this, is that he does advocate you just be more healthy. He advocates that you go outside and you go hiking, spend time with your family, dance with your girlfriend, have great sex, like all of these things that people should be engaged with, regardless if they're engaged in a diet like this or anything else, right? We should just be encouraging people, each other, to be healthier people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I wish that he was a little bit more clear. I mean, I know that he has books and stuff like that, so maybe that's where you go find the gold. I can't afford that. I'm not going to be spending like that kind of money on a fucking diet book. Just not going to. I understand why he does, though. I get it. I understand. But everybody has a right to make a living, and if this is what you do for a living, that's what you do for a living. But I will say, though, it is. I can imagine a layperson like stumbling upon Durianrider and fucking this diet up big time. Just especially if they're not keyed into his journey, they could fuck this up very easily. I could say even myself, right? I probably fucked it up a little bit to one degree or another. I don't think I did. I don't think I did anything really crazy or wrong. Like I said, I was just following the fundamentals of the concept of the diet. And I just didn't, I don't know, just didn't do it for me. Didn't work for me, unfortunately. I wish that it did. I'm just trying to lose weight. I kind of don't care how it happens. And I was hoping this would be the way, because it was just an interesting thing. But that's going to be the end of it. That's the end of the experiment. I wish it had gone better. And I'm glad that it works for some people. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy for you if it works for you and it fits your lifestyle. I am. I hold no grudges. There's nothing. I don't begrudge you anything. I'm not up here being like, oh, it's total bullshit. I think it just depends on your lifestyle, for the most part. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Adios.